to City and Clarity. This is the Sustainable Power series. And welcome to part one, where we get clear on what you actually want. This series is for high achieving women who don't want to burn out from weakness or doing too much. These types of women, they burn out from misalignment. When we hit midlife, our identity shifts. We step into different roles. Our body starts to feel like it's betraying us, yet really it's inviting us to step into our wisdom and to really start to pay attention to where our priorities really lie. Sometimes old goals don't fit anymore, so we really need to fine tune and get really clear on the things that we want, because confusion is exhausting. When we're like, oh, I want this, and then all of a sudden, but this is what's really important to us, and we are splitting our energy inefficiently. And so we need to reclaim that energy. We need to pull it back. We need to get really clear on what it is that we want. We really need to get aligned with our priorities and who we are, so that we can really step into our power ultimately and have the energy, the sustainable energy, to achieve the things that we want and be that woman in our life, in our business, that can lead the others. So if you don't update your direction, you will exhaust yourself chasing outdated goals. So that's what this first series is all about. We really want to get our priorities really clear, because when priorities aren't clear, sometimes everything feels urgent. We can get caught up in other people's panics and urgencies and importance, and that can allow us to distract from the things that are important to us. And then we end up saying yes to everything. We end up in decision fatigue, because we're trying to do all the things. We're trying to make the decisions that are best for this person, that person, and everybody else except for ourselves. Our mental load starts to expand, so the expectations that we put on ourselves start to expand, because sometimes we expect ourselves to help and fix everybody else's problems before. Our identity typically shifts from the age of 40 to 65. We really start to step in, our kids are older, they're starting to be a little bit more self-sufficient, and we typically get more time on our hands. And that time can, of course, become fractioned in the sense that we don't have enough, because all our time is being spent on other things. And so when we get to be really clear on who we are and what it is that we want, and we step into that alignment, things get a lot easier, and things don't seem to be so hard, because we're not trying to be who we're not. Our tolerance tends to drop at this age too. We have a lot of hormonal shifts as women that affect us. And I love that, because the hormonal shifts, and what I've realized stepping into 50, like 45 to 50, it was like, I don't know what was happening, but I really realized that was a time frame of refinement on me, in myself, in my priorities, in what was truly important, what was draining me, what I had to let go of, what I had to heal, like all these things. And my hormones and my body were just reflecting that. Was it that which wasn't working for me? So our tolerance levels drop, because, we can't be that person anymore. We have to be a different version of ourselves to have different things, or different wants or needs. When our needs change, our desires also change during this time frame. All of a sudden, just what was working between your 30s to your 45, your needs, our desires, like everything changes when we hit this perimenopause, menopause stage. They call it the crone stage. And that's because we're stepping into this inner wisdom. Our bodies aren't needed to create life anymore. So now we are needed to be the role models, the grandmothers, the Sherpas, the shamans, the wise women of the tribe. Like, people start to lean on us for wisdom versus the doing for them, right? We kind of are just holding space. You don't need a 5-year plan. Sometimes we just need some seasonal clarity. What's happening? Like, paying attention. Like, right now we're in the winter, and we're just coming into spring. It's Chinese New Year's today. We're stepping into the fire horse. I got my red on, so trying to keep this as calm as possible. And but also stepping into that fire energy that we need to pay attention to those things that affect our energy because the stars and the moons, they affect us. All the same seasons affect us. Hibernation, winter is meant for a time of going inward, deep healing. And then the spring is where we start to push out and come out with the new ideas and new growth and a new being of ourselves. So, I mean, just season from season, we change so much, let alone year from year. So from 30 to 45 and from 45 or 40 to 65, very two different versions of ourselves. So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of an exercise. I call it the bucket exercise. And it's just a way for you to think about where you think you need to be doing more in your life, where you need to be doing less of in your life. And then we're going to talk about the top 3 prior of this season that's coming up for you. This is going to help you simplify life instantly. Most women try to optimize everything. They're like, how can I be the best version of me? Which is not a bad thing by any means. But I feel like we're trying to be 100% of ourselves in all these areas at all times. And that just isn't realistic. We want to compartmentalize things. I want to help you realize that you can live in the and of things so that you know how to put pins on things and compartmentalize, put it aside, how you sustain your energy and your power in your relationships, in your business, because everything is energy and everything affects our energy. And so I want to kind of tie it back to the PDF and the guide, the Sustainable Energy Guide. Either you have it or if you don't, no worries, you can get it. Just it'll be in a link in the video below. So when you don't know what you want, you default to what others need. I'm going to say that again. When you don't know what you want, you default to what others need. And that's an over-functioning pattern. It looks responsible. It's like, you're there for, and I'm a big person to fall prey to this. It looks responsible. It looks productive. We're doing all the things for everybody else. And we kind of get caught up in their emergency energetics. And it feels productive. It feels like you're doing all the things. And then at the end of the day, you're like, wow, I didn't get any of the things I needed or wanted to do for me. And it fragments your energy because you're being pulled in different directions. Even if you're just thinking about it, even if you're just worried about the person or the people or the circumstance, those can be energetic drains. And so when you have clarity, that kind of consolidates your powder, your power, because it pulls your energy back towards one main focus. So a distraction is like, you set your intention for the day. This is what I'm focused on. Your calendar is already set for the day. And then sometimes what happens is that, you'll get a phone call and your energy gets distracted to that. Or you get an email and your energy gets distracted to that, away from what it is that you need to be focusing on. So there's so many things: time management, calendar management, self-control in not falling, this little device and tool, how distracting it can be and pull us away from present moment importance to other things. So pay attention to that too. But let's go back to kind of the 3 buckets of, what you need to do more of. And you're probably asking yourself, already doing so much. I don't know what more I could be doing. Like, I don't want to do more. And I get that. So I want you to focus on kind of bucket number 2, which is, kind of the things that you need to do less of, or what are the things that drain your energy. We want to do less of those, the things that drain our energy. And when I did this exercise not too long ago, running a business, I was like, wow, the things that drain my energy are the things that really, bring me clients. And as I'm in a partnership with my husband, I'm like, okay. And I had to sit down with him. I'm like, listen, energetically, like, let's look at what drains your energy and let's look at what builds my energy. And we looked at, the things, and luckily he gets energy from the things that drain me. So I'm like, let's swap. You're going to focus all your time and energy on that. And I'm not, because it drains my energy. The things that boost my energy, I'm going to do more of those things. And that allowed our energy to raise. So now there's there's no distraction because I don't have to think about, oh, I got to do that thing. I can be like, oh, I don't have to do that thing. I can go and do these things. These are the things that boost my energy in business, which is things like this, creating content, connecting with past and current clients, to sharing information. Like these are the things that boost my energy. And so I want to do more of these things and less of the things that drain my energy. So pay attention to that, because when you get rid of the things that drain your energy, guess what? You have more energy to maybe do more of the things that boost your energy. Because even sometimes the things that we want to do or love to do, we might not have energy at the end of the day to do those, even though we know those are the things that are going to boost our energy. But it really requires us to make the list, right? The last bucket is all about what are the three priorities kind of this season. Like, what do you really want to focus on? Like, what's really important to you right now? Is it growing your business? Is it relationships? Is it self-care or nurturing? Like, pick your top three, write them all down and be like, what are my top three priorities this season? Now, it doesn't mean that those other things are going to get done, because I really want you to pay attention to the fears that are going to come up, that it's like, if I focus on this, these other things aren't going to happen. And it's like, well, they really aren't your top priorities anyways. And if you're really afraid you're going to lose them, maybe they need to be more of a priority that you realize. Sometimes I think that we make things priorities that actually come naturally to us, and they will happen no matter what. And I do not prioritize my fitness anymore, because it is a core value and it is a natural ability. It is a natural thing for me that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. That's always going to get done. Like eating. I can never not eat. Like, no matter what. It's just a natural thing within me that wants to get done. I know my life and my health and my mortality depends on it. Same with fitness. So it's a non-negotiable. So it's just part of who I am. It is something that's going to get done no matter what. So I don't have to prioritize my health. I do have to prioritize other things because they're not my natural go-to. So I do have to prioritize rest. I do have to prioritize my relationships, right? Because sometimes I get forgetful. I assume that, my friends and families know how much I love them and how much they mean to me, but that's not always the case. And so I prioritize those things. I also prioritize my finances now, where, because that's not a natural thing for me. Budgeting, sitting down with my husband, going over the numbers and finances, like, especially as a self-employed household, like cash flow sometimes isn't always flowing the way we want it to. And so when it's not, it's like, okay, sitting down and having that conversation, okay, what needs to be paid right now versus the alternative? And it's having those difficult conversations sometimes. So those are the things I do have to prioritize and make a point to do first, because those other things are naturally going to get done. So think about it that way. What naturally and what do you need to prioritize might not be the things that boost your energy, because you'll do those anyways. You might have to prioritize some of the things that maybe drain you, but also at the same time, you don't have to do them. You just have to pay attention to them. And also, if it's done when it's done, does that boost your energy? So maybe the act of doing is draining, but the after effect is a boost in your energy. So pay attention to that, because sometimes it's the doing part that sucks, but the after part, that is the energetic boost. And we can talk about doing hard things and easy things. For me, I love easy and effortless all day long. And if it doesn't come naturally to me, it may feel like it's really, really hard. Those are the moments where we need help. We need a buddy. That's why, having those meetings with my husband is good, because we can, work together, make suggestions. It's not all on me. For women who are draining energetically, you're doing everything by yourself. You're making all those decisions by yourself. And when you're alone in that, and it's a big decision, that's tough. So it's important to really find the people in your life that can help alleviate some of that pressure, take the weight off, make it easier. Again, when we don't know what we want, we tend to default to what others need. And that's an over-functioning pattern. And I want you to really pay attention to it. You don't necessarily need to do more. You don't need to do less. Sometimes, you're like, I don't want to do less. I want to keep going. I want to maintain this level of where I'm at. Doing less, I'm going to feel like, can I do nothing all day? Maybe not. But what it is doing the things that are in alignment with you. So you're being your authentic self in everything that you're doing. So if you haven't already downloaded the Sustainable Power Guide, I invite you to do that. Our next video and part of this series is all about the invisible energy drains that you might not be recognizing. So I hope you'll join me in the next training series video. Have a great day.